Hi, I'm Samantha Jensen, and I will be presenting over a case study for my school law class. The first category is problem identification and analysis. What do I know about this case? Well, I know that Dr. Steve Forbes is a principal at Roosevelt High School for the last 9 years. He hired a new teacher in this case, and it was Miss Cindy Walker. Miss Cindy Walker teaches specialized science courses of zoology, botany, and genetics. She was known for having a high education in these subjects. Her classroom is known for also a high level of stress. Dr. Forbes suggested, well, before he suggested, he got numerous phone calls and emails about her high expectations, low grades in her class, high workload for her students, and poor instruction. Therefore, Dr. Forbes then suggested ways to reduce student stress and increase positive interactions with the students. However, Ms. Walker did not successfully implement Dr. Forbes' suggestions. Therefore, issues continued to happen. Over Veterans Day holiday weekend, Miss Walker received an email when she came home from her parents' house about a website she should check out, and the website happened to be about her. One comment on the website stated, in quotes, "Who wants Miss Walker to disappear?" She was extremely upset by this and immediately called her principal, and he told her to forward the email. And when he did, he saw the website and said that they need to do some investigations into it. He also asked if she had any idea she could think back about someone who could create this. And Randy Franks was suggested by Ms. Walker on who could have created this site. What do I need to know? I need to know the background of the teacher in the classroom and what her classroom environment was like. I want to know, was it a good atmosphere? Was it too stressed out? I mean, I know parents said it was stressful, but was it really stressful for the students, or was it there was just high expectations that they were not used to? I want to know who sent the email address or email message, and I want to know what the intent of the message was. I want to know, did a parent or a student send it to her, or was it someone random that saw this was a website about Miss Walker and just wanted to inform her? And finally, I want to know the school board policies over the technology uses and threats. I need to know this because I need to know what boundaries and lines were crossed by making this website even though it was out of school time frame. What do I need to know? I need to know the state and federal laws over the threats. I want to know, should the police be involved? And if not the police, at least the SRO. I do think the SRO should be involved, but I want to know why. Is it because there was policies broken? Was there laws broken? And so they'll just be a good resource for finding that out. I also want to know will the technology director be able to track down who sent the message? And if even better, who created the website? I do know that if it was on the school server, that they would be able to figure that out. However, I'm assuming it was probably created outside of school. And did Miss Walker focus on teaching during the investigation? The reason I want to know that is because um, as teachers, there's going to be a lot that goes on in our lives, and whether or not it's a good or bad thing, we've got to focus on making sure the classroom is still an educational place where students are learning. Identify the problem is what I'm going to talk about next. The main problem in this whole case is that a website was created about Miss Walker, and on this website there was a threat to her life. Miss Walker did not have the best teaching strategies. However, it did not matter. It was not bad enough for anybody to have a website created about this. I want to know if the website shows that there has been issues in the school between the teacher and the students. And clearly there has been issues with the students and the teacher, so it's been going on for too long now, and what we really need to focus on is how can we make this better. The second category is proposed plan of action with appropriate strategies for implementation. The plan of action that I would take is first document the email and the website right away, because with technology, I know that people can remove, add things immediately. They cannot remove once an email is sent. However, websites can update constantly from the creator. So you definitely want to document what she saw right away, whether it's taking a screenshot, printing the page, or even taking a video of it. Next, we need to contact the technology director to see if it is possible to see who emailed or created the site. Once we figure out if they can do that, we need to have a meeting the next day with Miss Walker right away because I know that this was a serious condition and she was really upset by it. Maybe I could bring in the counselor just so she could have someone to talk to about her feelings and figure out what the next best step would be for her situation. Finally, definitely need to contact the superintendent to inform him or her of what's going on because we always need to keep open communication about what's going on in the schools, and he or her is definitely the person to contact. Finally, question the suspects and discipline them if necessary. I do not want to just pull in one student, so I pull in a couple suspects, and from that point on, figure out if anyone confesses, and if so, definitely take disciplinary actions. I would definitely, if someone was guilty, I would talk to the parents and inform them what has been going on. And then we would contact the SRO to figure out the legal aspects in the case. I would also, which I think is very important, is get the website taken down. I don't think many people know you can do this, but you can get a website taken down if there is legal issues or threats. Because students or people just think that they can put anything online and it will stay online. And realistically, if it does do harm to someone, it can get taken down, which is great. So you definitely want that taken down. And then discuss the whole situation with parents and students who are having the issues. Anyone that is involved in this, I think it's good to have open communication and talk about what's going on, what's going to happen, how we can fix it, and who they can talk to. Finally, we need to make changes in Miss Walker's classroom. The reason we need to make changes right away is because this is the main reason all this could have happened is because there were issues going on prior to the website being created. Therefore, maybe she needs to take the suggestions that the principal offered, and also I would start doing more observing to make sure that it's actually following through in the classroom. The third category I'll be talking about is how to resolve the issue based on promoting the success of all students. What is the best for the students? Well, first I would say figure out who did this so Miss Walker can move on from this. I just think from a teacher standpoint, to move on from it, it would really be good to figure out who did it so you can just let it go and keep on teaching. Second would be have a group discussion over this situation. Discuss what has happened and how it has impacted the school and the teacher. Discuss how students, teachers, staff, everyone should act with integrity, fairness, and in an ethical manner inside school and outside in school, online and offline. Nowadays, social media and the internet is a huge place for people to connect, and they need to make sure they're having ethical decisions and good integrity online and offline. Talk about internet behavior and what is okay and not okay, and mention how what they put online can be visible to anyone. Students think that once they can delete things it'll be gone, but realistically anything they put online can be online forever, whether it's taken down or not. So they need to realize what they put is permanent, and to make sure that they're only putting appropriate things that they wouldn't mind anybody else seeing. I would say definitely prevent future incidents from happening by controlling the situation before it escalated to where we're at now. I would have definitely gone in the classroom and made sure she was following through with lightening up the stress level, maybe with some brain breaks or things like that. Move the students who need to be moved. If we ever figure out who does do this, who did do the website or who did have the main issues, you can always move them to a different teacher if necessary. Finally, have Miss Walker come up with new teaching strategies and remind her that she is a new teacher and that she has to be willing to change things in her classroom to make it a better atmosphere. Teaching is not just about the knowledge, but it's also about how you educate students with your knowledge. I would have her come up with ideas on how to help them learn through different learning strategies, and definitely communicate weekly with the parents. Category 4, debrief the problem by reflecting. So we're going to do a little reflecting. What was I thinking, feeling, and valuing as I responded to these questions? I can say right away I felt empathy for her. It was really hard to read, and just knowing what that would feel like to see a website about you, and especially in a negative light, that'd be awful. I also have to be honest that I felt like this could have been prevented. Depending on who did it, of course, but I feel like she is a new teacher and she needs to realize that she has to be flexible and be willing to change. She needs to take advice, and she does not need to be set in her ways, because it seemed like she felt like she kind of knew what she was doing. I'm not saying she did not know what she's doing, but when the principal comes and says some suggestions, to be a good teacher, you got to be willing to take criticism and change some things. She clearly has the knowledge for teaching, okay? But she needs, like I said, to work on teaching strategies and needs to be willing to be flexible. And as an administrator, must make sure to monitor and evaluate the impact of instructional programs that are going on in the classroom. That is my duty, and I need to make sure that the classroom programs are going on. Education is definitely flowing, and students are in a comfortable atmosphere. What issues are still unresolved or open to further investigation? These are still concerns. Who sent the email? Who created the website? Was it a parent or student? Why was this created? Was it a bad grade? Was it negative feelings towards Miss Walker? What all was exactly on the site? Was it just one comment, or was it a whole website that had a lot of information about her? Because that wasn't very detailed. And if someone is found guilty, what is the best punishment? Finally, what was wrong with her teaching strategies? We've got to think back to the classroom. What was going on in the classroom that we can fix? The last category is reflecting on Standard 5. How did you, as a building level administrator, demonstrate a sense of integrity and ethical behavior that serves as a model for all members of the school community? I took quick action to solve this issue and remained calm but assertive with getting a hold of everyone that needed to be. I also made sure I was making moral decisions. I made it clear to everyone that these types of actions are not okay and will not be tolerated. I also made sure to follow school policies. I even tried to prevent this by suggesting different teaching strategies that would benefit Miss Walker in her classroom and make it less stressful for her and the students. I do want to also make it known that I am 100% behind Miss Walker this whole time. She might have had a tough classroom, but I support what she's teaching, and I think taking some suggestions, she'll end up being an amazing teacher. I also documented the email and website for investigation. As the building level administrator, did I treat people fairly and with dignity and respect? I did not jump to conclusions on who sent the email or made the website. I made sure to treat everyone fairly and to do an investigation instead. I did not blame one person for this issue. It is not just Miss Walker's problem, but it's also a parent's problem or the student's problem or who else was involved. This needs to be solved in multiple areas, so I approached each area by having a discussion about what is ethical and not ethical and by suggesting changes in the classroom. I made sure that there was an open communication throughout this whole case. I made sure that everyone is involved who need to be involved. One of those would be the SRO, who could deal with the legal aspect of the case. I made sure to listen to what the parents, students, and Miss Walker had to say about this whole case. Finally, how did you, as a building level administrator, demonstrate a personal and professional code of ethics that inspires others to higher levels of performance? First off, when Miss Walker assumed that Randy was a guilty student, I made sure to take the professional steps of having the technology director look up the facts instead of just assuming off of her opinion. I also communicated with Miss Walker, the students, the staff, the superintendent, the SRO, and even parents to make sure this will not happen again. And I even tried to come up with a solution that deals with better communicating between teachers and the parents, and even the community. I treated everyone fairly throughout the whole case and showed sympathy to Miss Walker. I continued this investigation until it is solved because this is a serious issue that needs to be resolved, and that is my #1 priority, to make sure that that everything is solved within the school. That way the teachers, the community, the students, the staff members are all back to normal and we can have education continuing in the school.